listen, choose to raise your kids and do what you want to for your children's independence as you so see fit. But what the children have to understand, what anybody has to understand, is that when somebody is footing the bill, they have some say. I don't know what that say is,
and I don't disagree with that, but it's just, I think it's just counterproductive, because if the one downside about, and I understand what Jamel is saying about, I'm taking care of my daughter until she becomes married. The one downside of that is we no longer live in a society where that is long-term feasible.
Yeah.
Because divorce happens so often these days that you have women who've been in marriages for 30 years where a man took care of them, and now they're divorced and they do not know what to do with themselves.
He's in my house with my daughter. Hey, where you at? Look, I bought you this house so that you're able to get yourself together. I had enough of this guy that you got over here. I'm pissed off. I had enough. Excuse me one second.
Please don't do this today. Please don't.
Look at him. Laying in bed, watching my TV in my house, not paying their bills, leeching off my daughter. I had enough of this.
No, he's not. It's okay.
I haven't seen one red penny come in this house. All I see is him laying around in the middle of the day. A grown man should be out working, not laying in bed in here. I'm not trying to hear all that right now. Get up. It's time for you to go. I don't hear nothing, man. I haven't seen a nickel from you. All I see is a guy, a grown man laying in bed in the middle of the day, watching TV. This is my house. I do what I want to do. I pay the bills in here. You're my daughter. He doesn't belong to me. This is a grown man laying in bed. He needs to get himself and get up out of here. Man, I record what I want to record in this house. This is my house. This is my daughter. You go up front. I had enough. You go up front.
Is he crying?
She's crying. That's the daughter.
I'm about sick and tired of you picking these deadbeat guys, bringing them up in my house when you can do so much better with yourself.
I think it just sounds
I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. I'm just telling you how to live in my house. I'll pay the bills in here. You're my No, you don't need to go anywhere. You're my responsibility. You're my responsibility. I'm not trying to control you. I'm just trying to do the best for you.
You're trying to live my life.
I don't want you.
He goes, I go.
No, you stay here. He goes. And what's taking you so long?
Stop talking to him. No, listen to him. I'm gonna really. Mom has no idea who here.
She knows I'm here.
No, she can't possibly.
You are my daughter. I love you. And I want the best for you. I'm gonna sick and tired of deadbeat guys coming in here. It's time for you to go. No, you stay here. You stay here. It's time for you to go, bro. Enough.
I'm not going to stay here.
Oh, you staying here. It's time for you to go. Enough of these deadbeat guys coming in here doing what they're doing. Hey, say something else. No, enough. No, he's gone. He's gone. That's it. It's time to get your life together. Just clean this house up. Your mom and I, we raised you better than this. We gave you everything that you need to be successful in life. We gave you a house, we paid the bills, we gave you a car. You're in school, you're doing well for yourself. Why are you big?
That's his fault.
Absolutely.
Whose fault? The dad's?
The dad?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Frank. Speak on it real quick.
Man, even though your children make their own decisions, it still should reflect, at the very least, the core values that you instill in them from the time they're youth until adulthood. That's their compass. When you're not around to to verbally guide them. You know what I'm saying? So they gave her everything. And for the sounds of it, she ain't had to work for nothing. They gave her everything. He said it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, we gave you everything you need to be successful. So you're not going to value nothing you haven't worked yourself for. You know what I'm saying? So he set his own daughter up by being this by being this super nigga to his daughter. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes you can overdo it. And a lot of times you give your children more than what they need. You know what I'm saying? And so you create this entitlement. That's why she feel like she can lay up in that house, not paying anything, and have a nigga lay up in that house too, and think it's all good. Think there's nothing wrong with it because she's never had to provide for it. If she had to pay those bills herself, she would have been looking at that nigga a lot different because she would have felt the pressure of those bills every month. You know what I'm saying? So because her dad is doing everything for her, that house is a clubhouse. It's a fun house. And she got her little friend in there to keep her company. So that set her up.
I have something to add.
Go ahead, Chanel.
I didn't see the whole video, but I feel like it's deeper than that. A lot of times, parents or people in general feel like because they provide in physical things that's enough. I've known, a lot of males to be present and, like set their kids up for success, but are not emotionally there. So there's something emotionally missing, and she's looking for something in men that her dad didn't give her still. Just because he was present doesn't mean he was present. So
that's the same thing I was thinking as I think Frank was talking, that it's definitely something else. It's an emotional component missing, because typically women will go after men who kind of resemble their men. I mean, their fathers.
Yep, their dad.
So
yep.
The fact that she's not going after a man that takes care of everything, that takes care of her, is kind of interesting to me. And to me, that says there's something deeper there.
Okay, go ahead, Paula, and then I'm gonna get to you, Jamel. Go ahead, Paula, jump in there real quick.
Yeah, I'd agree with the ladies. I mean, she's definitely missing something. There's like a empty space of something she didn't get. So you're looking for that validation, looking for that emotional, whatever, that connection, and then you get someone who's deadbeat because if they're not going to work, they're giving you all their attention. They're always around. They're always available for you, always there to talk for you. So, he's just there. And then even with her reaction with him leaving, she was just, having a little temper tantrum and stuff like that. He's attached, but it's not a healthy attachment.
Yeah.
And I also feel like a lot of times whenever that's the main thing that a parent focuses on is providing, people tend to resent that. So they look for people who don't give that. They resent that part because that's all they're giving. So subconsciously she is like seeking out men who don't provide because she resents that. It didn't give her what she needed overall as a kid and as a woman. So, there might be some resentment there to a person providing for her.
Yeah, if I was that dad, I would be questioning my parenting skills as to like, why does my daughter feel as though that type of person is right for her? Like, I would be questioning my skills. I wouldn't be.
I would too. To be honest, I see it. I saw it two ways. One, listen, y'all saw me drink my damn water. You damn right. Get that bum up out of there. I'm getting the bum up out of there. And then we're going to have to sit down and have a conversation because I'm going to need to know, hey, I know you know better than this. So we need to have a real serious sit down because you're going down a path as a young woman that you will not come back from whole. Because you're looking for something. Like, I agree with y'all. She's looking for something. She's looking for that hug. She's looking for that that emotional presence, just that there, and you go down that path, that's how you end up with the guy who only thing he come to your door with is a PlayStation and a bag full of clothes. You know what I'm saying? And you feel good about that because he's just there. But on the flip side, as a father, you see that, you know where that's going. You know the end of that and how it's gonna look. So I understand the dad.
Let me just jump in here real quick, because I see something a little bit different. The guy didn't have like a whole bunch of clothes in. It looked like he was just laying up in the bed. So it wasn't like he had to move out. He just got his clothes together and he may spend at the end of the day, I don't think he lives there. So he may spend a lot of
That's
time
all he had.
there.
That could be all he had. 2 outfits.
That's all he had.
He was there for the weekend.
Yeah, whatever. I mean,
like.
regardless if it's all that, let's be for real. He didn't live there. But the thing is, I would be more as a dad. I kind of understand where he's coming from. The reason being is because me personally, I'd be ashamed to be laid up in my girl's bed while her parents walk through the house. I would not want them to see me as somebody laying up in her bed or just laying around the house. If she's in the kitchen cooking, I'm gonna be there with her, or I'm gonna be doing something productive. We're gonna be interacting. And the thing is, if I see you coming up, if I walk in the house and you laid up in my daughter's bed, and it's just like that's a constant thing. Come on now, like
that's what he said in the video. He was like, every time he's here in the middle of the day, he should be working. Blah blah. Like I get it. I get it. As a dad, it's just that you got to wonder.
At the end of the day, you can see to somebody's character. This guy doesn't have morale or value. Like I would feel bad, like for my girl's father or parents to walk in and I'm laid up in her bed and she in the kitchen. Like I would be in the living room. I would be if I hear somebody come out and go out there and greet them. It's like a whole different. It just says a lot about that person's character, the guy. So
I feel like two things can coexist. That you can still have emotional issues, and he can be ain't shit. And everything you just said. I feel like both of those things can definitely exist in that situation.
Go ahead, Jamel. Go ahead and jump in there real quick.
Yeah, I can see how the father was failing. You know what I'm saying? On the flip side, it's still his failure, but I could also see his daughter acting in rebellion because he's trying to buy her love instead of actually being a father. You see what I'm saying?
But what is a father? Define what a father is, in your opinion.
The emotional connection has to be there. I mean, like there isn't this cookie cutter father, but emotions have to be attached, and clearly there's some emotional connection missing there. Like that's the number one thing that would draw a person to a person that's not, showing up in a relationship properly.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have to be honest that most men don't even have control of their own emotions. So how can they be emotionally available to anybody else?
Yeah.
We got the whole men got to be masculine, women always emotional because men logical. When if you really look at it, women are far more logical than most men, and most men are actually terribly emotional.
All right, so that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother thing. Like,
there's
not a single study on earth that would back that. No,
listen. I'm gonna stay right here.
There actually are.
We gonna stay on task.
I'm gonna stay right here where I was going. I'm gonna stay right here. I was going. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying, it's very possible that she's being rebellious because he was trying to buy her love. You feel me? A lot of fathers, historically, especially with the things that we were taught, we have no different example that was given to us. Realistically, nigga, you gotta work, you gotta provide. Who gives a fuck about your free time? Who gives a fuck about you spending time with your kids? Who gives a fuck about you wanting to be around your wife, nigga? Go to work. That's what the culture dictated. And as a result, it bred a lot of daughters much like that who received everything and received nothing at the exact same fucking time. Because the very thing they was looking for was father to be around. However, somebody got to pay these fucking bills. You know me? Somebody got to go take care of this rent and things of that nature. So in my opinion, because he seems pretty well off financially and otherwise, he seems well off. I feel like he's the type of man who threw himself at his work, probably as a result of him not having a lot when he was a kid himself, bought his daughter everything and then some to make sure that he made up for the time that he himself missed within his own life from the father that he didn't have, thinking that that's what his daughter wanted. And as a result, it bred resentment and she rebelled and went for the exact opposite type of nigga that he actually wanted her to have.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what I think.
went for the absolute opposite type of nigga that he actually wanted her to have. You feel me? And as a result, you know what I'm saying? Really, I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, if that situation would have progressed for the rest of her life, Pops would have been paying for her for the rest of her life, every way, shape, or form you could possibly think of. Yeah. I kid you not. I kid you not. The results. There's nothing. My fault. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish your thought.
There's nothing, in my opinion, that says, oh yeah, you shouldn't take care of all of your child's responsibilities as a daughter. I got my own archaic thoughts on this, and I'm firm on them shits. Ain't nobody gonna swing my opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing saying, yo, you can't take care of your daughter until the next man takes responsibility for her. You feel me? But at the end of the day, he has to be a suitable man that's gonna be able to take responsibility for her. And in this case, my personal opinion, because of his failures to be there as a father, she was bound to end up with a nigga that was going to use her for her resources instead of actually experience her as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, and that's the danger zone, because man, it will put a young girl into, or a young woman into, a tailspin that she may not get out of for a decade, and you burn up a decade of your life with the ain't shit, but he's somewhat emotionally available, or so he appears to be, because he ain't got nothing else to do. Listen, let's be clear. Let's be honest about some of the things we've seen on social media and in memes. The dudes that are the bums that don't got nothing going on give the best dick, and they got the most game and personality. That's because he
hold on. No.
That's because he ain't got no energy.
Can we just Can we just address this? I'm sorry. And there's women here, so I need y'all to really like stand on this. Don't be scared. I don't give a fuck what these niggas say or what they do. Listen what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, say this shit with all your chest and be honest. I believe, and this is from what I've talked to so many women, bro, it's crazy. My own shorty, you know what I'm saying, told me some shit as a result of her not being able to talk to nobody else in the world. Women lie to men so much, it's not even fucking funny. And I'm not talking, I hate when people be like, oh, that bummy nigga give the best dick. That's a rumor, fam. It's a lot of women.
They might be lying. They might, but
there's a metric ton of women. Bro, there's a metric ton of women. Bro, there's a metric ton of women. I shit you not, who will literally spare niggas' egos and will lie. These niggas will go out here gassed, thinking that they really doing some shit and they not.
Y'all out here spitting
that ideal.
Y'all people like y'all as species out here be killing us when we tell y'all the truth.
Yeah. No, fuck that. No, listen to me.
Social media ideal, and everybody has grabbed a hold of it, and they think it's absolutely true. But
I think it's more along the lines of what you're saying, Alicia.
Social media, I don't think that's legitimate.
That shit ain't true. I've seen women lie. So when she told me that, I was scared. I'm like, damn. Am I doing it right? Like, I didn't know.
Well, see,
I didn't know.
The reason I had dudes like straight up cry on me when I told them the truth, and it wasn't even that I was upset so much. It was like, this is something we can work on. And this dude was sitting there crying, and I had to bust out laughing because I thought he was playing.
Let me tell you how detrimental this is, right? I shit you not. My woman's 35, right? She's 35. And I used to think she was lying to me when we first started. She's like, yo, that was literally the best. I didn't even know you're supposed to have sex like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's like, I always thought sex was just, and that's the end of that. You know what I'm saying? And she said, majority of the time it hurt. I thought sex was made for men to be satisfied. And she would just literally, I shit you not. It's wild. And she's not the only one. Yeah. There's a lot of women that say this.
Yeah, there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference between sex and intimacy.
We did that subject. You remember we did that subject about how many women orgasm and don't.
And y'all said it was the woman's job to have her own orgasm.
And women were just tapping like, no. You know what I'm saying?
Look, the thing is, there's a huge difference between sex and intimacy. A lot of people may not have experienced intimacy. And the thing is, there's a key thing in when you have intercourse with somebody, it's called chemistry. If you have a certain chemistry with someone, it's just it's gonna happen again and again and again, and it's gonna get better each time. So I mean, if a chick not satisfied, I don't even understand like why even deal with somebody that you're not satisfied with.
That's what I'm saying.
Or if a nigga not satisfied, why even fuck with a bitch that you're not satisfied with?
A lot of them know. A lot of women don't even know what
they don't know what good sex feels like. That's what I'm saying.
About sex from porn. That is our starting place. Porn, and it's nothing intimate a lot of times in porn.
Exactly. It's just
nothing special. It's that.
Is
and
that?
what
That's what
we
I'm telling
take as
you.
good sex.
They genuinely think that that's good sex, fam.
Right.
Like that's in their mind. And then when they actually get with somebody that's actually doing it,
When
and they actually got a
pours
connection
into your soul, while he
that's what I'm saying. It changes everything. And they really be on some like, holy shit, I didn't know that's what was supposed to happen. And they're convinced. They're convinced in their mind that that's what it is. I used to literally tell this woman to her face, "You're a fucking liar. Stop lying to me." Like you're a fucking liar. There's no, cause I'm grown. We can talk about the body count. I don't give a fuck about body count. You know how I feel about this shit. I'm like, yo, I'm grown. You feel me? I'm like, yo, you been with niggas. The fuck is you talking about? I'm the best you ever had. You don't gotta lie to me. You already got me, man. Stop it.
But you have to understand.
Stop it. Like, what are you doing? But she really was telling the truth.
But what I'm saying is, there's that meme, there's that idea that dudes with the least do the most, and what it is, it's two parts to that. There's an element of energy. I want to talk about the energy. Let me tell you, bro. We talked about this before. The busiest men, the busiest men in the world, oftentimes got a lot less energy for certain things. That bum that's laying in the bed all day. Yep. Oh, he got the energy. Listen, whether it's good or bad, he got the energy to do it as many times or as often, because that's how he's paying his rent.
He got
anyway.
the time.
Yeah,
he's resting. He got the time.
It ain't.
Yeah, he good. He good. That's all he needs to do. Because why do anything else? You know what I'm saying? If that's all I'm required to do is be in the bed, get up, eat, we lay up, we get it in, and then we do it again and again. Of course,
5 times a day, bro.
Yeah,
but in your early 20s, as a woman, how much more do you need?
More
they
what?
Look
Sex?
young. I mean,
I'm sorry.
I can see
are you
that.
talking about more sex? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no!
Well,
when I was in my 20s, it had to be 5
sex,
times a day, or he sucked.
I couldn't fuck.
You're saying outside of sex, what more? You're saying outside of sex, what more do you need?
In your early 20s, when you in college, it's just like, how much more do you need than companionship and good dick at that age? Now, as you get older, you start to realize what's important. To start a family.
But the thing is,
qualities you should be looking for in a man for a long-term relationship. But at that age, it's just like,
but you have to really understand when I say that a woman's initial touches may not have been the best initial touches. A lot of women have been molested, sexually assaulted, and all kind of shit. So they don't even know how to receive those type of touches. You understand? So all they know is really just getting fucked. So
that's what I'm saying.
I see what you mean. Okay, in that regard, I know what you mean.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of women, bro. There's a huge populace of women who don't know how good sex feels.
Yeah. Like, and even being with somebody, who's experienced, being with somebody, touching them, holding them, and a certain kind of way can trigger things. So you just really got to really learn the person that you with. You know what I mean? You just really got, it's just an individual type thing, man. You really got to, because like I said, I've been in situations where, hey, things might get a little bit risque, and it's just like flashback, boom, and it's like, damn.
Yeah, and then there's
it's like a weird state.
You have those who may have been raised in the church or raised in a family where you're told, sex is dirty, sex is nasty.
Yeah.
So that stays within you, and then whenever you're growing up and you have your hormones kick in, there's a sex center in your brain, and you're pushing it down like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't have these thoughts, they're nasty, they're sinful, blah 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 blah. So then when you get with your husband or your boyfriend or whomever, you don't know how to respond sexually, and because you've associated any sexual lust or feelings with being nasty or being dirty, when you're with that person, it's like in the back of your mind, you're like, this is that dirty, this is nasty, I shouldn't enjoy it. So there's that you have to overcome. So there's a lot of different layers with a lot of different women. I don't know how this relates to your meme.
I was the complete opposite.
It does relate to it, because again, that's a very valid point. I think me and Frank was speaking about that too. That whole disassociation with I should even be enjoying it, or this is even something to be explored. This is dirty. We shouldn't be going here. By the time a woman maybe realizes that this is all okay, how many situations has she been through that were more damaging than good? So now she understands that this is supposed to be a healthy exchange, but she's got some other stuff that she's got to unravel, dealing with the wrong type of man that was laying up in the bed that your dad should have kicked out when you was 19, 20 years old.
But
you know what I'm saying? Kick that motherfucker. I'm with that. Kick his ass.
I want to go back to the dad thing here. I'm gonna jump in now. So I think the dad is 100% the cause of the issue. Number one, your adult daughter has her own house that you're still paying for, but you want to come in and dictate what happens?
Yeah. Whoa.
Let me
That's
finish.
the way that works.
That's
the way that works.
That's
the way that motherfucking works.
I'm not paying for nobody to live at another address.
Hey, but if
that's an investment for him.
But here's the thing. But if you do, see, people gotta remember because look, if the government subsidizes that, they get to tell y'all how to live in that neighborhood.
And that's fine. But
she's
I'm
still
talking about in this situation.
She's still independent. When you're a dependent, go ahead. She a dependent. She don't get no say so.
But this is the thing. When we left my son in Mississippi at 17, I told him I don't mind signing for you to get an apartment, but you got to pay this rent. And as long as that boy paid that rent, I ain't had nothing to say.
There you go.
Just my name was on the paperwork. I ain't paid nothing. When he got his next apartment, my son's 19, he got his second apartment. I didn't do anything. I don't have anything to say. My daughter is coming back to live with me. Okay, you're in my house. Now I have things to say. I have some rules. Yes, you're an adult. You can do this, that, and the other, but you got 1 year to get it together so you can get your own place. There is no way me as a parent is setting my child up for success if I am still fitting the bill for everything while they're adults. It's different if I bought my daughter a house, like my sister, her father bought her a house and she had to pay the mortgage. That's totally different. But when you still paying all the bills, you still got another child.
And that's what I'm saying. That's how he's treating her, and that's how it is.
I know.
I think
but at the same time, you can't sit there and be like, well, I want you to be independent, but I want to come over here and tell you what to do. Pick a lane, sir. Do you want a dependent or do you want an adult child?
I think it depends on the scenario. I remember working with this girl in radio, and her father was paying a lot of her bills. But because he was paying her bills, she was able to work in radio. She was able to expand her career. She's working at different news stations and stuff. So it was a career move, because had he not helped her, she would not have been able to follow her dream in radio and TV and sports, because you don't make a lot of money in those scenarios.
But this clearly ain't the situation for this girl.
Right, but what I'm saying is, well, we don't know that. We don't know the behind the scenes story. True. We saw a 2-minute video. We don't know why he's paying her bills.
I don't know. For me as a parent, when I set my kids up for success, I made sure they knew how to manage money. They've all had debit cards since they was 8, 9, 10 years old. They knew how to save. They've worked.
Jamal, you got your hand up?
Yeah. Good luck with that. They have done all of the things so that all of my children left home at 17. My daughter is only coming back to stay with me because she's still unsure of what she wants her next step to be. And I'm like, well, I don't want you out there floundering. Just come stay here, go to community college for a year, and just figure it out. I don't want you to have to worry about bills while you're still figuring out your next step. Your brother just got kind of lucky. I mean, he went into his career right away versus she's not. But I just can't see myself, them in a whole other place, and I'm still paying bills. You might as well just stay home and I can pay your bills. If that's the case. Now, if it's a situation where you're having to move for a job and you're being proficient in that career, I get it. But the rules and regulations will be set before you get there. There's no, I'm gonna have to come in and put somebody out your house.
Well, see, look, the fact that he didn't have to knock, let's be clear. He didn't knock. There's probably an understanding. He said this ain't the first time. There's probably an understanding and an expectation. She's just probably, like someone said earlier, she's rebelling a little bit. And that's fine. You can rebel all you want. Go rebel on somebody else's dime. Go ahead, Jamel.
That's what I'm saying. Father, sometimes parents got to let their kids fail.
Yeah, I agree.
It just is what it is.
Agree. Go ahead, Jamel.
So this is just me. Again, I got some really archaic thoughts. I don't believe that women get the luxury to fail. This is my stance and my stance only. I believe it's necessary for the dude to fail because adversity makes men men. Literally. In fact, women naturally give men adversity for them to grow. That's just how it works. It's how y'all are designed. It is my position, my belief. You know what I'm saying? I still operate on the once you leave my house, you go under the responsibility of another man. You ain't working unless it's something you're just passionate about. You want to do art or something like that. But beyond that, or you want to assist your man and managing what it is that he does. However, yeah, design. I'm a Christian. Don't worry about it. You don't got to believe what I believe. But concerning that, like, I don't think he was wrong in regards to providing for her, paying all her bills, and none of that until she was married. I stand on that. I'm giving you an example. My 8-year-old daughter just called me for $3,000. I can show you the message right now. She won $3,000. She won it by June 13th. She gave me a deadline. I better not miss that deadline. And the reason why I'm not going to miss the reason why I'm not going to miss that deadline is because realistically, I'm setting a precedence for what she's going to expect from the man that's going to be responsible for her. You said earlier, Manuel, dependence. Last time I checked, when I get married and I am the head of household, my wife is my dependent. I claim all my taxes.
Absolutely.
What I look like letting my daughter go out into the world as a dependent while providing at the same time. Fuck that shit. It's not happening.
But that's what I'm saying. If she's out there in the world, I shouldn't have to still be providing. Because at that point, you might as well just stay home.
I agree. If she's
and we
married,
can do it here. So I ain't got to pay bills in 2 houses.
I agree if she's married. You understand what I'm saying?
Let me give y'all a inside scoop real quick. Me and my ex was living together.
Whoa.
Oh, me and my ex was living together, and she I forget what a bill was due. I can't remember. We were young, struggling in our early 20s, trying to figure it out. A bill was due, and she got nervous at the bill being due, and she said, "Well, I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm gonna call my dad." I said, "What? You gonna call who?" I said, "That will never happen." That was one conversation in our 20s, and I was not even legally able to drink. I said, "That will never happen." I said, "The fact that you live here with me and I'm claiming to be your man and going to be your husband, the one person who will go to anybody for a handout if it's necessary is me."
Facts.
It will not be you. You don't
Facts.
qualify to do that. You are now mine. You depend on me.
Facts.
I'm the protector and provider.
Facts.
And so because I'm telling you now, if my daughter was to call me and say, "Dad, I need help on the rent," and it's a dude that's living there,
man,
I can tell. Listen, let me tell you, my daughters will. I would text my daughter and have her chime in and tell you what my response would be because they already understand. And so, and look, as far as the scenario goes, you want to pay for your child's home and like, you know, depending on what the situation is. Listen, choose to raise your kids and do what you want to for your children independence as you so see fit. But what the children have to understand, what anybody has to understand, is that when somebody is footing the bill, they have some say. I don't know what that say is,
and I don't disagree with that. But it's just, I think it's just counterproductive because if the one downside about and I understand what Jamel is saying about, you know, I'm taking care of my daughter until she becomes married. The one downside of that is we no longer live in a society where that is long-term feasible.
Yeah.
Because divorce happens so often these days that you have women who've been in marriages for 30 years where a man took care of them and now they're divorced and they do not know what to do with themselves. Because they have lived 100% of their life with somebody else taking care of them. So they never learned how to be self-sufficient at all. And I'm not saying this from a framework of women shouldn't need men, not saying that at all. But as an adult in this day and age, self-sufficient is important.
Here's my counter.
And it has nothing to do with relationships.
Here's my counter.
Everything to do with we live in an economy that we don't necessarily have any control over. And it may be your husband taking care of you today and you got to take care of him tomorrow. So
here's my counter to that. When it comes to that woman who has, let's say she's been married for 30, 40 years and her significant other passes or whatever the hell, If she's not able to be sustained after that takes place, then that was on the failure of both that father and that significant other, in my personal opinion. Understand what I'm saying? For me, for example, when my daughter's married, I fully intend, I don't care what nobody says. Like I said, I have very archaic thoughts concerning this. I want the next generation to start off better than I did. I'm not going to let my daughters, or even my son for that matter, go into a relationship where they marry someone and they don't have a good financial head start. I'm going to give them like 30, 40K each for them to start their lives off with. You understand what I'm saying?
Right,
now, concerning long-term,
I get that, but in the other part is the question here. What if your daughter don't want to be married?
I got you. Even if she don't want to be married, then guess whose responsibility is it for me to make sure that she's taken care of for the end to the entirety of her life? That falls on me.
See, if I pass away, daddy cussing out your daughter about that man and your goddamn man.
Here's the thing, though. I wouldn't be that. Here's the reason why I wouldn't be that. Right, for 3 reasons. Again, my daughters are insanely spoiled. I'm not just saying this. I'm telling you what it is. They're a different breed of kids. In fact, when I was watching Chris Rock stand up not long ago about Will Smith, he said them rock girls is a whole different breed. My girls are the same goddamn thing. You understand what I'm saying? I feel for any man they actually come in contact with or they cross paths with. However, I don't believe it's going to take place in their lives where they're going to be having a deadbeat living off of them because their standards are going to be entirely too high. Way too high. There's no way they're gonna look at that person. And I hate to say this, but I'm giving room for their humanity. They're not gonna look at that person as anything more than a plaything if they go that far as to play with them. You understand what I'm saying? But realistically, if they chose not to get married, if none of my girls chose not to get married, then it's on me to make sure that their lives are sustained. That's my responsibility for 3 reasons. I don't hustle for my first name, I hustle for my last. If my kids is living off the state, that speaks to my failure as a man. I'm not sharing this on anybody else. I'm speaking on me. I'm not going to go rely on the state for my daughters to be taken care of. I'm not going to rely on the state for anybody in my family to be taken care of if it's within my means. And if it's not within my means, I need to do something to change that. If I die and my daughters are not wed by the time that I pass away and I didn't have life insurance and other things in line for them to be taken care of well after I passed, then I failed as a father. That is just how I stand. If my daughter said,
at what point do they become adults, though?
Right. They become adults when they become adults. I feel like I find it really interesting that this stance is challenged, and this is what is needed. This is what is needed.
I listen. I'm gonna be honest, man.
I'm all about balance.
We got. Look, there was. Go ahead. Finish, Jamel.
I promise you, I'm almost done, man. I promise.
Go ahead. I
promise. You feel me? I'll be damned if they got set up a GoFundMe to get something to bury my black ass because of my failures.
Right.
And if we talking about adulthood, right?
That's not what I'm talking about. But okay.
I don't care about adulthood concerning the legal age to do anything or the age they should be doing anything. As a man who was 18 years old and had to figure shit out from 12, 13 years old, we can't sit here and talk about the age of adulthood realistically because I'm a man.
That's not what
Hold on a second. I got you. As a man, I had responsibilities from young. I had to figure it out from young to make sure I took care of what I needed to take care of. For my daughters, again, they don't have the luxury to have to figure that out. That falls on, from Jamel's standpoint, they don't have the luxury to have to figure things out. They shouldn't, realistically, because it breeds the very men, the very women that a lot of these soft ass niggas is complaining about. You understand what I'm saying? It breeds the very women that y'all said this little girl's gonna grow up into taking care of a nigga, in my personal opinion. You feel me? It breeds the very women who feel as though they got to contend and stress themselves out, contending with niggas in the workforce. I'm not gonna have my daughter. I'm not having my daughter
about that either.
Hold on.
I feel like can I chime in? I mean, like, I feel like my bad. Yeah, let me. My bad, Jamel. Can I chime in? I feel like, if what he's saying is like whatever the child, the adult child needs to learn, or whatever struggles or whatever adversaries they face will be from whatever level he leaves them off at versus the bottom. Like if you're setting them up for success, whatever challenges they have is not going to be on the average level of everybody starting from the bottom. And that's the way it should be done. That's what's needed. It's no such thing as, well, when do they become an adult? It sounds like you're saying, well, when do they have to struggle on their own? No, like, but what does that mean? When do they become an adult? Like they're given the tools that a lot of people don't have, and it's needed.
Giving the tools is fine. I'm fine with that. I gave my children the tools. All I'm saying is when do you pull them off the teat? That's all I'm trying to figure out.
I got that question.
There's no way I could be where I am.
Jamel, hold on. Jamel is saying never. They don't come off the teeth.
They don't come off.
Listen. Let's be real.
I get it.
I want to tap into something that let's get back to abnormal norms. Let's get back to abnormal norms because hey, let's be clear. Us as black people in the United States do not have the cultural.
The humanity,
to understand this,
and I'm not debating. I'm not saying I want my kids.
But he himself, as a father, he's trying to put this norm in place or this thing, and it might make them abnormal to a lot of people because they.
But isn't it?
I get it, and again, I'm not saying anybody has to struggle. So don't put me in this far left thing. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, we know that's not what you're saying.
I think everybody needs a landing point to start from. But I know a lot of people who, because they have never come off the teat, when the teat run out, those people go out and blow their brains out because they don't know how to live.
I got you.
And that's the thing. That's why I said everything should be in balance. No, I don't want my kids to struggle. I tell my children all the time, I don't want them to struggle. So if you have to call me, I'm the family pit bull. Put me in, coach. I got you. But at the same time, I don't want them to feel like I always have to dictate what's going on in their lives because I'm paying for it or because I'm always there hovering over them.
Sheffy, please.
It's about time we agree on something, Sheffy. I just want to. It's about time we agree on something.
Let me respond to her. Let me respond to her quick, please.
Go ahead.
Please, Sheffy. I actually agree with you. We're not saying two different things, right? Because if we talking about just general human self-sufficiency, they're not going to be lacking in those things. You understand what I'm saying? There's still the expectation for my children to have an education. You feel me? There just is not any expectation for my daughters, for example. And this is unique to my daughters, not my son. I want my son to drag his knuckles. I want him to fall on his face.
I'm completely
listen to what I'm saying. Hear me out. I'm telling you, this is a bias. Yes. Listen to me very carefully. I'm gonna go back to this point. There are double standards that exist naturally. There are double standards that exist naturally in humanity. They just are. There just are. And this is one of those double standards that works in women's favor. You understand what I'm saying? It just does. It just does. I'm not. I didn't make.
Doesn't.
Hold on, Sheffy. Hold on.
But that's what I'm saying. Y'all think it does, but it doesn't.
I swear we're on the same team. I swear to God we're on the same team.
You don't have to be on the same team. I'm fine with disagreeing.
So Pete, right? I don't mind my son. I don't mind my son dragging his knuckles and having to work hard because there's lessons that he's going to learn that he has to learn in order to be for the type of women that I'm raising. You understand what I'm saying? See where I'm going with this? My daughter's on the
I do understand, but
I love it. It's an experience.
So let me set my sons up to struggle and let my daughters do whatever.
Let me put it like this. One thing, listen, as men, we see in the world these coddled males that are legal adults. And we see what we see the results.
I agree.
We're seeing and we're also in real time seeing the results of women or girls that have been told or that are working to be providers and protectors of themselves. Exactly. And now we are in real wait. We are in real time. Complaining about this result.
You're right.
We're complaining about this result. We're complaining about men that don't want to let their wives take off a few years to wait to raise children. We're complaining about these men not existing, and then we're complaining about the women not wanting to be those women when we're not like again. Our cultural foundation is so stripped of these standards that when we put these ideas out there, it sounds as if we're putting somebody on a crutch or we're hampering them. Or no, we're actually not.
But what I don't want you to do is put me in this far left, like I think everybody should struggle, because that's not what I said either.
No,
I don't struggle. My daughter ain't gonna struggle. I'm not gonna let either one of them struggle because it's my job as their parent to make sure they have everything they need.
Here's the thing, though,
So,
Sheffy,
but
right?
so I'm not one of those people who like, well, I got it out the mud. Y'all should get it out the mud too. No, absolutely not.
No, when I say get out,
I walked so they could run.
Hear me out. I'm not saying that he should start from the bottom. So I think that's what we're missing each other.
You said your son got to drag his knuckles through the mud.
He got to work. He has to work. I'm going to make him work, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to give him the same. That doesn't mean I'm not going to give him the same head start. Is what I'm. Because I said earlier, even my son is going to get $30K when he gets married. The difference is my daughters won't have to work for anything outside of who they seek to support in marriage. That's it. That's how I'm raising them. That's how I want to see them.
That's fine. I'm just saying I disagree. And maybe that's just because for me in my house, I have raised my children to be just self-sufficient, period. That has always been a thing. I didn't want them to have to need us. We're here. We're not going anywhere. But I don't want them to feel like they have to need us to survive. Just because the real world out here, and this isn't even just cultural, the real world out here isn't catering to people in this manner. You got to think about resources are not finite. I mean, resources are finite. They run out. The people who can go get the resources are the people who are going to survive. Period. So if we're not setting our children up to be survivors, and they have to go from one person paying for them to another person paying for them, it can breed a whole generation of people who don't know how to be self-sufficient. And I'm a sociologist. Like I'm literally a degreed sociologist.
That's it.
And this is what I'm looking at, the pattern of when you don't provide the ability for self-sufficiency, the next generation ends up lost. And you can see this in these kids right now. Facts. They got computers in their hands and don't know shit from fuck because they've never had to look for information. They ain't had to do no encyclopedias. They didn't have to use card catalogs at the library and actually do research. So because everything is provided for them, a lot of these children are plain old stupid.
But I think
they haven't had to do it.
But I think the ideas, you know what I'm saying? Y'all might be the ideas that Jamel have and the ideas that Sheffy has, they coexist together perfectly.
Yes.
Because really Jamel's not saying that his children aren't going to be equipped with that. He's just saying that his daughters aren't going to have to use that until it's to benefit a man, which fantastic.
To benefit a man, to benefit a man. What about to benefit herself?
I mean, because she
will be benefited.
Because he's saying that she will never have to
trying to create step wives again.
No,
but, hey, listen, because she's saying, hold on, I'm gonna back up. Because he's saying that she should never have to. Put it like this: we are in real time witnessing the complaint. How many times? Like I'm seeing women. I'm seeing women right now say at 30, I'm tired. I don't want it no more.
Agreed. But this is okay, Manuel. Think about it. This is no different than the whole conversation about gun control. Just because you make a snap decision that exits out everything doesn't mean you don't create another problem. So when you go from one extreme to another extreme, all you really do is create another problem.
I'm thinking
the solution is a new problem. That's just nature, right? That's natural order.
However, because when you dead and gone, you ain't gonna have to worry about what you left behind, I guess.
Who's not gonna have to worry about it? That's a problem.
I mean, you dead, so you ain't gonna worry about it.
You won't know.
I'm not gonna know, but beforehand, I will have an idea of what it is that I've done to make sure that my grandkids, like I said, I don't hustle for my first name, I hustle for my last. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And that's wonderful in theory, but I promise you, after you die, you probably won't have no. That's my.
You would just be like, "Well, I thought I was doing the right thing," and it's like, I can't operate in extremes whatsoever, and that's just because I believe very strongly in the socialization of the populace, not just my children, not just the children I affect when I teach, not just the children in my community. It's for the populace. We see what the populace is doing in the Western world when it comes to women and work. I'm 7 months pregnant. I'm a woman of means and I can't even get a daycare. So I'm well aware of the effects that this has had when we went to this extreme of women being independent. I'm well aware of it. It was not to our we got a lot of benefits out of it, but we got a lot of things that should not have happened.
You lost a lot of things too. Yeah.
But going too far to the right, we're gonna have the same problem. Well, not the same problem. It's just gonna be a new problem that we're gonna have to adjust for instead of meeting somewhere in the middle.
I see what you're saying. So
that's all I'm saying.
Would you agree that
my children can call me today and say, I need $5,000. I'm gonna come up with that money as long as they ain't trying to like buy weed or nothing. But
$5,000. I'm
gonna come up with that
money. He don't want no Reggie. He don't want no Reggie.
He got to go out and get that on his own.
Mama got the bag.
And then when it comes to life insurance, but with all of my children, they got at least $2 million in life insurance that come to them if me or their daddy kicks the bucket today or tomorrow. So they are well taken care of. But for their day-to-day, I need them to know I got to pay my light bill. I got to, maybe I should eat out today because I got this, that, and the other. I don't want them coming to me for stuff like that. I want them to be able to manage those functions of their life. When my son got his car stole and my daughter wrecked her car the same day, I called my ex-husband. Hey, you need to go help our children. What do they need? He was on the road the next day going to help our kids. I couldn't go because I'm pregnant, but he went. We're going to show up every time. We're not going to leave them hanging. But what I'm not going to do is pay for everything too. Because I could be dead and gone tomorrow. If I never taught them how to manage money and how to manage their lives, what have I actually taught them other than somebody going to take care of you?
I don't
mind. I think both of y'all, like I said, I think both of y'all ideas, they can coexist perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? As long as the parents are setting the kids up for whatever eventuality can possibly come, man. It's all about the eventuality.
Whatever, because I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't want my daughters to even know how to pay a bill. I'm gonna be honest with you. They won't know.
Listen,
see, I think you're doing a disadvantage.
I want my daughters to look at a bill and be like, "What is that? Like, it's that?"
Listen, I'm telling you, and this is coming from
you also gonna have to teach them.
You the women who end up with men.
To be a bad.
Now hold on. Now, keep in mind. I'm not saying that I don't want them to know how credit works. I'm not saying I want them to know how finance works. None of that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're gonna know how to handle money. They're gonna know how to manage money. They're gonna know how to invest as well.
You just want I see what he said. He just wants the actual sight of a bill for them to be like, ew. Not that they won't know what it is.
That is how you end up marrying somebody who control you with money.
Bomb.
Yeah, I agree.
They will.
Wait. Hold on. Wait. I promise you. If I called my wife in here right now, she would tell you I said the same thing. And it had nothing to do with that until she said, "Babe, I need to see the bills because what if something go left and I don't even know the company to reach out to pay the bill?" And I was like, you got me. You're right. You know what I'm saying? But I legitimately did not want her to even be remotely concerned. So I think it's a matter of concern that men want to erase from the woman's, our woman's brains, as opposed to the reality.
Talk to more women that have ended up marrying men that would use things like that to control them.
I mean, there's bad that exists on every level.
Agree.
Like
I agree that there's bad that exists, but realistically, in my personal opinion, Sheffy, I'm going to do whatever it is possible to ensure that I'm very in who they end up being with, because again, I'm funding the head start to their life. So of course I'm gonna be investing and find out who this person is. I'm gonna know who this person is, and I'm not gonna hand my daughters over like lambs to the slaughter. So while I agree that that's an extreme or a caution that should be paid attention to, I don't think it's a reality for the situation, for how invested I am in their futures. You understand what I'm saying?
This person is saying, hold on.
Just like you can't just look at somebody and tell if they're gay, you can't just look at a man and tell
hold on. What somebody's saying is, why not teach them the skill they hopefully never need to use? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about they have the ability
That's what I'm saying. That's what
I'm saying. I don't know who the commenter is, but yes, you teach them the skill, but whether or not they have to use, you hope that they never have to use it.
Exactly. But anyway, Sheffy, I agree with you that you can't look at a person and determine whether or not they're going to be who it is that they're going to be, but you can interact with that person to find out. Listen to me. I operate. Me personally, I'm telling you, I personally don't even like to have sex with a woman until after 6 months. You feel me? I'm not going to set I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you, I just have really works.
I understand.
I'm gonna have a similar standard for my daughters and who it is they dealing with. And I'm gonna be like, yo, I want to see who this dude is. Listen to me. I understand emotions get in the way. I was once young. I understand hormones get in the way. I was once young. I am not saying that I can control every aspect of whatever outcome that could possibly take place. I'm saying I'm going to do my best to ensure that they don't befall those same errors that are easily avoidable, in my personal opinion, from taking place.
But those ones aren't, and that's all I'm saying. As a woman, as a 41-year-old woman, the way a lot of men have positioned financial stability, the way even social media has presented financial stability as this thing, it really leaves women being just the Barbie doll on the arm, the eye candy. And a lot of times there's a lot of men out here that are setting women up in that regard because they're just looking for something to control.
You got to avoid those
but it's not that hard to avoid. I mean, it's not that easy to avoid, Manuel, is all I'm saying. It's not that easy to avoid. Even for the
if it's easy for me to avoid, if it's easy for a man, well, okay, we got to give people other tools. Now I've got to get us to the next subject. But if we expect men, boys, males to avoid gold diggers who really don't have any interest other than getting after the bag, we better set females, girls, women up to be able to avoid the men that want to use that money to control them. Like these are tools that they have to be given.
Okay. Y'all ain't listening, but okay.
No, I'm just saying it's these.
I'm literally speaking from a woman's perspective who has actually dealt with this, and y'all ain't listening.
We're not discounting that. We're not discounting that. We're saying that if I exist, if that man exists, and if that man exists, and this is not how we use whatever resources we have, then we know that there are others that exist. These guys, and so what we're saying is, girls, women can be taught that okay, these are your expectations, and these are those types that provide that also while not weaponizing it against you.